What's going on, everybody? We are back with another post-race breakdown of the
Three.
2023. I had to
Yeah,
remember what year it was. Uh,
2023.
F1 season, man. And today, history was made,
Yeah, expected.
but does anybody care?
No, I don't really care because it's expected. Like we say so for so many times, it's expected.
Like it was so funny. I was watching the race, and David Coulthard and whoever he was with
Yeah,
just kept on like waxing political, like, oh, years from now when people watch this, they're gonna remember where they were when this and this happened. I'm like, no, they won't. No, they won't. This was not, I mean, like, it was significant, right? Like, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but its significance amongst absolute terrible boredom.
yeah. It's significant, but it's boring
yeah.
because because we just expect that this will make because they're fast and
Mhm.
good job to Ripple again. I'm gonna say again, good job to Ripple, good job to Max handling
Yeah.
that car. But it's just
It's expected at this
Yeah.
point.
yeah,
You know?
it's expected.
Like,
And
I-
and record is meant to be broken, right?
what up, Crispy?
It's never going to be the record is never going to be sit there for nothing. It's meant to be broken, so it's
Yeah.
expected.
No, okay. So, without delving too deep into this, what was your takeaway? What was your feeling from the race?
I mean, from a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 7, to be honest, because it's boring in the beginning, but once the intensity kind of fire up, you can see some race craft within people. Let's say Carlos and Charles Leclerc,
Yeah.
and Hamilton handling his 5-second penalties. That was pretty cool to watch, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I wanted to jump in because I have a very strong opinion on that. But no, keep on going. Don't let me interrupt.
Yeah, and for me, Oscar Piastri and Hamilton collide. I mean, it's I would say it's Hamilton's fault at the end, but then he didn't say anything. He just keep moving forward and then see if he can resolve that issue.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a perfect, mentality for anybody that is doing any sports
Mm.
in the sports environment.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
the way you should do. Even for me, when I play basketball, I got fouled. We lost, but I just keep my head down and keep pushing forward. And
Yeah.
no complaining. The game is a game.
Yeah. So for me, I think 7 was very generous. I think like I want to give it a 5, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah.
I agree. There was some racecraft. It was really nice to watch Sainz hold back Verstappen for the first like 10 laps or so. Really he was showing what he can do as a driver with a really, really poorly set up car.
Yeah.
And to anybody who disagrees with that, really, you just need to look at the history of what Sainz has been saying about the car, about it being very unpredictable. Sometimes the rear end grips, sometimes the rear end doesn't, and that's why he ended up losing the position to Max. Actually, it was because the car is very hard on the rear tires, and he couldn't maintain his grip levels anymore. If he continued the pace that he was keeping, the rear end would have let go on him, and he wouldn't have finished the race.
Right.
So really, Sainz showed off his capabilities as a driver, completely. for holding out as long as he did, you know, throughout the first stints of the race. Big surprise, Verstappen gets ahead and immediately puts like a 10-second lead, you know, or more between him and everybody else.
Just look at that car.
Whoop-de-doo, you know.
The speed of that car is just...
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's
stupid.
out of nowhere.
Yeah. You know, but what was really interesting was that he was having trouble keeping up with the Ferraris in the beginning with signs. You know, he even said it over the radio that like your straight line speed, you know, was stronger than his. So it just tells you how close but also far away the other teams are.
It's like,
you know,
it's like Ferrari is running on the edge. Either is top speed level or fail.
Yeah, exactly, right? Even the same thing with Mercedes. Look at how like Hamilton came from so far behind to end up 5th. You know, I think he came from like 8th to 5th.
Yeah, I think
you
so.
know,
Yeah.
And it was a hard-fought battle for him to do so, but a lot of it was pushing a very poorly set up car in order to get there. Of course, less impressive was Russell, you know, who actually either maintained his position or dropped down.
I don't know.
Wait, did Hamilton end up in? It was Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. So no, it was Hamilton went from 8th to 6th, and Russell went from 4th to 5th. Actually, yeah. So we did get to see Russell get his elbows out, but again, and this is why I consider it to be like a 5 out of 10 race for me, is because like everybody's cars is letting them down except Red Bull. Yeah, quite literally. You know,
the Red Bull just have a perfect car this season,
right?
Like
they're the only team with a perfect car.
Yeah,
basically.
There's no not any single angle that is fail on Red Bull. None.
Yeah. And even if their car is not perfect, it's the most perfect. You know?
Even their car is not, if their car is not perfect, they can still pull out 10-second gap.
Right, exactly. So
I would say 9-second gap for them is not perfect. 10-second gap is perfect.
So, you know, we saw Russell get his elbows out a little bit, but he really couldn't maintain it. When it came down to Hamilton versus Piastri, actually, I argue that I don't think Hamilton should have gotten that 5-second penalty.
Okay.
The reason why I argue that he shouldn't, and actually when it happened, I was like, what the F? You know, like, why is he getting the penalty? Because he was adequately ahead of Piastri.
Yeah, I kind of see it. Yeah.
Like, Piastri should have hit the brakes and given up the corner, because Hamilton was like 2/3 of a car length ahead of him, right? And while Hamilton did swing wide, right, he needed to in order to set up for the turn.
Because he's in, I will actually say he's actually in the racing line. Right.
And Piastri should have backed off just a little bit in order to avoid contact. Yeah. Right.
No, I see where you're coming from. Yeah. Like in the beginning, I saw the same. But then, like, because we all know FIA is gonna screw Hamilton up again. So I'm like,
dude, the only people that they gave penalties to were Mercedes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The only 2 penalties that they handed out for the race were to Russell and to Hamilton.
FIA, man, they just don't like Mercedes for some reason.
No, they clearly don't. At least that's the way it comes off, you know.
But after the penalty, like Hamilton, if you notice, there's nothing from Hamilton on the radio. he just keep it quiet.
Yeah.
And then like I have no doubt after that initial contact and overtake, I have no doubt that Hamilton is gonna make over the 5-second penalty.
Right. Yeah. Of course, he hammered it down, and he took enough or created a big enough gap in order for it not to matter. You know.
Yeah.
Which
I think in the end is like 6-second gap.
Right. So he maintained his position to Albon. You know. Which, you know, okay, like that was impressive, but not worth, to me, rating the race above a 5. And then I guess the most exciting point was watching the Ferraris go head to head, which almost, to me, it almost seemed like a consolation prize, right? Like, okay, at that point, you know, Max was, you know, far enough ahead. For the first time all season, Sergio Perez, you know, was closing the gap to Hamilton. So he actually took the 9-second gap and brought it down to a 6-second gap. So he was catching up to him. That's impressive. But we got to watch these two guys battle it out for third. Whoop-de-doo. Right? Like, yes, it was an impressive battle from like a technical point of view, right? And, you know, props to Sainz, because
he defend the whole race, man.
Yeah.
He actually defend. If you guys notice, he actually defend like hell.
Yeah. And that Sainz proved today what I've always been saying, is that he is the better of the two drivers at Ferrari, in my opinion. Right?
Same here.
Yeah. He has the better racecraft. He has the better consistency. He has the better. He's the better driver, in my opinion.
The most importantly, he has better knowledge on the car.
Yeah.
And on the strategy as well. Because, like I said before, like Charles Leclerc, he's a good driver. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to have that momentum, and he needs to be in that environment to make himself strong. Carlos is strong overall, whether it's up or down.
Exactly. Like, Carlos is just in my opinion, such a better driver, such a better, again, he has the potential to be a champion, you know? And Charles feels like a lot of hype. Like, on a good day with a good car, he's good.
No, right? He can deliver.
Right.
Anything goes perfect as planned.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But Carlos can deliver even when things are not perfect.
Yeah. Carlos can deliver
perfect.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
Yeah. So to me, like, again, that just speaks about how much better of a driver Carlos really is. And so, yeah, like it was a consolation prize to watch them fight for third. And so, yeah, that was really the highlight of the race for me. So it's kind of like, oh wow, okay, we're gonna watch a battle for bronze.
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to be super excited for that? You know, like, I was way more excited, I feel, in the first 10 laps of the race.
Me too.
Because I was like, is Sainz really going to do it? Is Sainz really going to hold back Verstappen? You know, is it possible that we can see like a final chink in like the Red Bull armor? And then that evaporated, you know?
Instantly.
So,
yeah. Like, literally instantly evaporated.
Yeah. So, Steven, this is really like so true, man. Like, I don't understand how people, I'm just going to call it what it is, like how the Europeans can, you know, talk about how egalitarian they are, how sort of equal and loving to everybody they are, and yet there's such rampant racism towards Lewis. You
The
know,
only black driver on the grid.
yeah,
Surprise, yay!
like Jesus Christ. And people say America is bad, but the reality is, man, like we have African Americans at the peak of all of our sports, with the exception of hockey, and we fucking celebrate them. You know, the Europeans cannot tolerate a black man at the peak of their sports, and I don't get it.
Dude, look at NBA. There's mass majority is a black.
Yeah, you know,
and we celebrate them. I love them.
Right, like basketball, football, American football.
We all love Kobe, right? You guys love Kobe.
Yeah, like
or Michael Jordan.
Like and like there's one black guy in all of F1, you know, and he just keeps getting shit on and hate, and it's disgusting, quite frankly. Over the slightest things too. It's just any excuse.
Exactly.
Like, I'm so over it, man. And that's funny coming from an American talking to you Europeans who are out there. Like, y'all are racist. Y'all are racist as hell, and I'm sick of it.
And like I don't know if you guys noticed, even some of the rookie that just came into Formula One on the grid racing with Hamilton. If Hamilton get his elbow out with them, they're gonna complain.
yeah, exactly.
And they're gonna be like, "What the is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah. Yo, El Cap. Just want to say thank you, El Cap. Got him. But dude, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I agree with you. You know, like, there's no reason to deserve it whatsoever. You know. Well, and this is ridiculous, right? Because intelligence has nothing to do with the color of your skin.
Yeah. Like,
literally, if that was the case, then there would be no African people who are at the peak of sciences and mathematics, which there are. There would be no Asian or Middle Eastern people at the peak of sciences and mathematics, which there are. Right?
Dude, like, even look at Google, Microsoft, all those CEO, it's not even American, not even white.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, guys, wake up.
So it's such a this concept of correlating skin color and race to intelligence is so old. You know, it's ridiculous. It's so fundamentally like in the United States here, we largely have tramped down or significantly reduced racism for the majority of the country, believe it or not. Joe and I can speak to that as people who are non-white.
Yep.
You know, but this seems to be a persistent issue within the sport and within Europe at large. And I'm just telling you guys, like, as a consumer of one of your greatest exports, i.e. F1, I'm over it, y'all. Like, you guys need to grow the fuck up. You know, Europeans, not like necessarily the people in the chat. We appreciate all of you guys, and we appreciate you sharing your opinions, right? But like, bro, like, don't sit here and talk to us about the problems in our country if you guys can't even handle something as basic as racism. Like, really?
We'll see.
Like, well, we just had a black president. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yep.
But back on topic, you know, of the race, right? I agree. Ferrari needs to take Carlos seriously. You know, like, he is really like such a like strong driver. You know,
he's a good he's a good fit for Ferrari. He's just what Ferrari needs.
Mm-hmm.
break the rule.
Yeah, well, Ferrari needs a lot of help, and changing out their racing director is not the solution. They have fundamental problems with the engineering of the car. They have fundamental problems with the team and the strategy. Their pit stops are not great, and if anything, the last thing that they need to worry about is their driver or their race director, right? Like and what's funny is they can't even get on the same damn page. Carlos Sainz comes out and says, "Oh, there's problems with the car," and then like one of their chief technicians comes out like the day afterwards and says, "Oh no, the car's fine." Like, if you're driving, this is what led Mercedes down the pathway that they're on right now, right? If your driver is telling you the car is fucked, the car is fucked. Like,
because he's the one who's driving the car, not you looking at the car on the data. He's actually using his body to drive the car.
Exactly. His butt sensor is better than your simulation.
Yeah,
like
his
I'm
butt
sorry.
sensors can sense the heat and the speed. So
yeah, and dude, like Steven, I was waiting for this. By the way, I was waiting
me too.
to
Actually,
see if Dirty Max was going to come out.
Yeah,
I was completely expecting it. But having said that, again, relating it to what we were just saying, it only seems that Dirty Max comes out when it's Hamilton.
Yeah,
and we've commented on that ad nauseum on this channel in the past.
So many times.
Like,
only Hamilton can bring out the best of Max. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, he'll bring out the Dirty Max for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Dude, Sable Slippers, thank you. Joe and I were literally talking about this
we were talking about this for
last week.
Right? Yeah.
In particular, and Ben Sulayem has come out and publicly said that they're not going to do this with regard to Red Bull, which I do not get, right? Every single year during the Mercedes dominance, there were new rules introduced in order to curtail their massive lead. And Ben Sulayem has literally said categorically they will not be doing that with Red Bull and like from this point forward, which I think is
even
absurd.
Even when 2021 campaign started, they changed the rules.
Yeah.
For Mercedes, so that they don't have that much dominant. Why does this happen?
No, it's very, very odd, right? And here's the thing, right? I don't care if you see it as like a conspiracy. I don't care if you see it as like team favoritism, right? My big issue is that it fundamentally hurts viewership.
Right.
Like Joe and I are bored halfway through the season. I don't really want to watch the rest of the season. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. Like, I literally tune in, and like this morning, I had to watch a live stream from one of my buddies simultaneously just to stay awake. Right? Like, I was literally doing 3 other things while I was watching the bulk of the race, because it's like, okay, the second Max gets into the lead, who cares? Right?
Yeah.
I don't watch races. I don't watch competitive sports to see who ends up in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Like, I don't. I want to see a battle for first. I want to see a battle for who's the best, right? And without any leveling of the playground, or the playing field, between the leaders, then you're just going to have a runaway leader every single time. And then what's the point? I can literally get the same result of watching the race by watching the highlights.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, if you go and look at all of the news sources, they were all reporting on declining viewership, especially from America, right? Which is like the whole new big thing for the FIA, their big accomplishment, why they did Drive to Survive, and all of that stuff, right? Like, if you're losing that base, then all of that investment and time and energy you put into cultivating that base, you're killing it. And Ben Sulayem's doing it by choice. By choice.
Ben who? Ben who? What's his
Yeah.
name?
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
it's new made.
Like this
I
morning,
agree.
I sleep in actually.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And this, I agree with you, LCAT.
Yeah.
They are holding too many races, dude. It's exhausting how many races,
It's gonna be even. I think it's gonna be even more in the future. I think.
9X, I didn't catch this. What's this?
No, I didn't. I know. Like in the big, like this before the race, Hamilton or Max has commented about their teammate. Like whoever has the best teammate overall, something like that. But the detail, I don't know.
Yeah. Fill me in on this. I missed this comment, honestly.
Dude, that's just how boring it gets. We just miss a lot in Formula One life.
Yeah. It's so funny, Newman, like that they're going to. Oh yeah, everybody wants to chant LH is finished, blah blah blah. But let's also not forget, LH gained 2 positions from the start, whereas George Russell lost a position from the start. So,
and LH has worse qualifying.
Yeah,
than Russell.
Yeah, dude. The Mercedes car is so shit. Like, it's just so shit, man. It's so.
Where is that W11? I want to see that W11 come back.
Yeah, I agree. And at this stage, are we really surprised? Like, the Sky commenters are pretty, Yeah, man. I agree. Russell does care more about finishing in front of Lewis. He has some chip on his shoulder to prove that he's worth something. Yeah. And it's so funny, right? Because like, he's not better than Lewis. Like, not even by the longest shot ever, right? But he does have some chip on his shoulder, like, oh, as long as I finish in front of Lewis, like I'm better than him, which is bullshit. Like it really is. Like, dude, win a championship, even one, like, please. Then you can maybe talk.
You can talk.
Let alone, 7, 8 championships. Like
8 championships.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, given more time, Lewis would have overtaken him anyways. And the statistics prove this out, by the way, that Lewis's race pace is better than George Russell's.
Yeah.
George Russell may qualify well, but his race pace is slower than Hamilton. Yeah. Without a doubt.
And of course, the medium tires help. I'm just going to say that.
Sure.
But again, it's not driver ability. Don't crack under pressure. That kind of ability that is helping Hamilton to move forward.
Yeah, man. This is true. More than with Williams, I'm impressed with Alex Albon. Yeah. Like, that boy has really been stepping up to the plate the last few races, and the Williams is by far a perfect car by any means. It has great straight line pace, right?
They're
But
just very very slippery.
yeah,
Yeah.
but dude, for Albon to get that quality out of the car, right? Like I would love if F1 was truly homologated, and what I mean not just homologated, I mean like um I'm forgetting the term, but if it was done like the Mazda Star Racing series or something like that, where every single car is exactly the same as every other car, so it's based purely on driver skill, man, we would have a completely different race on our hands.
Oh yeah, we will.
Completely
Completely
different
different.
race,
Yeah.
you know? And especially with the likes of Albon, Norris, Sainz, and then you throw in the old schoolers like Hamilton
Alonso.
and Alonso in the mix.
They are not
Man,
gonna be easy on them. For
No.
sure not.
no. Exactly.
And of course we
You
have
know.
Max right there.
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
most
but I
aggressive
think
driver.
Max, I don't think Max would be able to handle if he had that many guys who were operating the same machinery at the same level.
Just think about it.
You
If
know?
all of them are driving a Red Bull.
Dude, I would argue that Albon is racing better now than he ever
was.
has
Yeah.
in his life.
Yeah. No, I think in Red
And-
Bull he's still in the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
Like he's still rookie, and after so many times, even he went into other series of racing, gain some experience, and come back to Williams.
Yeah.
Which will develop a performance on him.
Yeah, dude. Like Albon, I'd love to see almost Russell out of Mercedes and replace with Albon to go as a second to Hamilton. That would be such a cool combination.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think that would be so dope. I don't know, but it'll never happen. But like, dude, I can at least dream, But
Dream big.
yeah. Dude, you're really not wrong here.
Yeah.
New Made nailed it, by the way. El Cap, spec racing, basically. If all the cars are literally the same exact spec, nobody can really tweak them aside from handling preferences.
Suspension preferences and
Yeah.
higher strategy, stuff like that.
Yeah, back when I was doing when I had my own drone racing team, we had a series like this, and it shakes up things so much, right? Because just like in F1, drone racing is no different. The more you can spend, if you can outspend the other teams, you can get the best equipment, you can spend the most amount of time with setups and really like perfect things, and then make multiples of that and really like ensure you have the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
So
that's where cost came.
It's what
But
the
then-
cost tries to do,
But then it doesn't really do any difference.
no, well, especially when they barely enforce it, So, but so it's so funny, man. Like, it's interesting because my dad occasionally like shows some interest into racing, and he hears me like bitch about it. Like we were talking earlier today, and he was like, "Oh, you're watching the race?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Who's winning?" I'm like, "The same dude," like, who cares, And he's like, "Well, you just don't like this guy." I'm like, I don't, he's not a class act. He's, very like childish, when pushed to the limit. I mean, look at how he handled the dude in the simulator racing series, where it's like,
Well, and then he leave the race.
the guy hit him, but he took him out and he quit the series. Like,
such an immature act.
exactly. So, yeah, I read this.
Yeah.
So I have two opinions on this, and I'll let Joe say his. But my two opinions is, one, Hamilton really didn't need to make this comment, which may be like a little bit of a controversial opinion, right? Like, Hamilton, you're kind of down in the dumps. You don't need to be punching at Verstappen in the media to kind of take him down. You're better than this, in my opinion, right? But having said that, it's kind of true. Right? The last person that he had challenging him at all was Danny Rick. And Danny Rick, he's not that great. And he ran away from the challenge ultimately, and scuttled off to to Renault, right in the midst of Red Bull having issues with Red Bull being their supplier, which I think was a bit of a dick move, but no, he's never had any good teammates to challenge him, number one. And number two, he is not a team player. So it's like a lose-lose as far as I'm concerned. What do you think, Joe? What is your opinion on
I mean, when I first see this comment, I didn't think that much, but I started looking into the detail. And if you do the math, who does Hamilton had in the past? First guy, Alonso.
Yeah.
The second guy, Nico Rosberg. Third guy. Third guy is Valtteri Bottas. And Jenson Button is in the mix.
Yeah.
If you think of all these four, it's already better than Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Sergio Perez. It's already better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of true. But then again, Hamilton doesn't have, in my opinion, he doesn't really have to say this because people knows.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, and this is why I don't think he needed to say it, right? Because Max gets a lot of leeway being Dutch, right? And the Dutch are just straightforward, no BS people, right? And of course, for whatever reason, everybody wants to shit on Hamilton any chance that they get. So that's why I don't think he should have made the statement at all, because regardless of whether it's true or not, it's going to be taken as being petty. It's going to be taken as unnecessary, and it only serves to hurt him. It doesn't serve to help him or build him, so it kind of sucks.
In Hamilton's case, Nico Rosberg actually take the championship away from him in the same car. So, in this type of situation, it's kind of true that Hamilton has a better teammate.
Yeah. No, it's definitely true.
Yeah.
I mean,
but again, I want to see, because I didn't read the whole article, so I don't know how Hamilton was asked for this type of answer.
Well, the truth is, most people won't care about how he was asked.
Yeah.
In all honesty, they're just going to be like, look at this petty comment. that Hamilton made.
Yeah.
And
so that's why I wanted to say, like, if we take a closer look at the bigger picture of the bigger, like, whole environment, how he's being asked and who is, like, what type of press is being asked of him, then the way he said it might not be actually wrong.
Well, I don't think his statement is wrong, because he basically said what you said, right?
Yeah.
It was like, look at the number of people that have been, and the number of, like, champions even that have been his teammates, or people who have put in historically legendary, performances. And in comparison, friggin' Verstappen's had it on easy mode, as far as teammates are concerned. So he's not wrong. It's just, I know, the guys in here know that, Hamilton is going to get skewered for making any comments that paint Verstappen as anything other than the best thing since sliced bread, which is stupid, because he's not. I don't even think Verstappen's a good role model, to be 100% honest with you. But like, I would not look to him and tell my kid, if they were interested in racing, like, this is who you should model yourself after. Like, not at all. So, like, it's yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Max is not a good role model overall. I mean, let's put aside from his driving ability, personality, off-track personality and stuff. No, he's not a good role model.
I mean, the guy threatened to headbutt a reporter, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, bro, you're a professional. Be a professional. Like, genuinely, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know, man. I do not understand. It's like, when I talk about him, I look at him like I look at Cardi B, right? Cardi B is being held up as this, like, women's empowerment. Look at her, boss babes, whatever, right? Dude, Cardi B is a former stripper who worked with another one of her, like, strippers to drug clients and steal from them. Then she goes out and makes really, like, hyper-sexualized music, and parents are letting their, like, 10 and 11 and 12-year-old kids listen to, and repeat some of the dances that she's doing. She routinely gets into fights with either people who are in the industry or even fans, and then this is your example of, like, a good quality person, right? Like, Max has got zero personality, is basically the child of child abuse, right? He has the temperament of a child in the race. Like, if he gets pushed into a corner, he gets dirty and vindictive, and, like, he has very little social aptitude to deal with the media or press. Like, is this really, like, my dad asked me if he had any mental problems after, like, seeing him. And by the way, you guys, my dad is a doctor. He's a head doctor, a psychiatrist, right? He looked at Verstappen and was like, yeah, maybe he has some mental issues, like, so.
Dude, that's well said from a doctor.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I don't see the big deal, honestly. this, imagine, he would be called every subtle racist term in the book, you know?
And he's probably gonna be arrested.
yeah, like they would call him a brute and an animal, and you know, all of these things.
When Max say it, nothing happened.
Yeah.
People expect him to say it.
I'm glad you guys like that. Yep. Maxi B. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Exactly. Right? Yeah, and he is, I don't know, man. Have you seen how he, like, treats his stepchild? No, like, dude, especially, like, if he's playing on stream, he, like, comes in, he's, like, pushing her away like a dog, you know? It's like, get out of here. Stop getting your nose in what I'm doing. It's like, jeez.
Come on. That's not
man.
Model.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it happened. He said he would headbutt a freaking reporter, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he has threatened reporters on more than one occasion, but I know there's that one for sure. I can confirm. Let's see. Oh yeah, here I can actually pull this up real quick. Here, let's do this. A little picture in picture.
Yep.
Max, why have you had so many accidents?
I don't know. And like I said in the beginning of this press conference, I got really tired of all the questions. So, yeah. I think if I get a few more, I'll headbutt someone.
There you go.
Like, really? Yeah, you're going to headbutt somebody? You're going to headbutt a reporter for asking questions? Like, that's your job, jerk.
You have to be professional. Be professional.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Like, it's just stuff like that. Stuff like his unwillingness to work with Drive to Survive, yada yada yada. That's why I love it. I'm gonna call him Maxi B from now on. Yeah, man. I hope people realize, because like I look at young F1 supporters, you know, and they realize, they really say like, oh, Max is my guy.
Yeah,
Max is my guy. You know, I love Max. You know, Max is so great, and it's like, really, this is your guy, huh?
The problem with them is
okay.
The younger generation don't have experience.
Yeah, like I just okay, you know, this is who you're going to put on that pedestal, huh, guys? Okay. I have a little bit of a different standard, but you know, to each their own. You know. Yeah. Yes, Sable Slippers. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Really, I mean, you see it. If he does anything but get first, like his dad is angry, and you know he's going to yell at him privately about it. You know
what I said before. It's not his dad thing. Red Bull is his team.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really not. It's not your team. Red Bull is Red Bull. Max is Max. It's not Max Bull.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's why I kind of put the topic today is like history was made, but who cares? You know, like, yeah, Max had a great accomplishment, you know, but like it's an accomplishment when the rest of the field sucks, right? Like it wasn't a hard fought accomplishment, you know. So
It's easy peasy for him.
yeah, I mean, really, like how am I supposed to feel excited about that? You know, how am I supposed to feel like, wow, he did it, when, you know, like I said, the rest of the field sucks, you know. It's not that impressive.
It's not exciting.
You know.
At the end of the day, it's not exciting.
Yeah, man.
History is made in a boring way.
Yeah, exactly. It was made in a completely just okay, like
an expected way.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you're watching a foot race and the guy walks across the finish line, you know, because he's that far ahead of everybody who's running. Like, okay, you know, No, I haven't. I'm assuming, Joe, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Tell us a little bit about it. Is it worth it?
I mean, if he's talking about the car design, then yeah, of course it's worth it. But if he's talking about the great driver Max, then no.
Okay. I gotta check that out. Let me look that up, man. The how to build a car, right? Yeah, dude. I mean, it's not cheap, but I definitely
Mercedes people should buy this book.
Right?
It's right there.
Seriously.
Or the Phil should buy this book.
Yeah, man. Oh, dang. He really goes into the technicalities of it. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, dude. I dig it. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to my wish list right now. That would definitely be a very interesting read. It'd be a very interesting read. Probably a lot of it would go over my head. I'm not gonna lie, but it's also because I haven't been keeping up with my mechanical engineering stuff in a while. But dude, that looks dope, man. Yeah, this seems to be a cultural problem in general right now, kind of globally. Narcissism has been on the rise, you know. So it seems like maybe Max is the champion for that time.
Yep.
Nui is definitely a genius. Like, there's no question about
Look
it.
at
Like,
the car that he has built.
yeah, quite literally. I mean, an entire grid. Like if you think about it, every other team but Red Bull has struggled so much with how to set up the vehicle, how to build it even correctly given the regulations. And Nui alone created a vehicle that is that impressive, right? Let's take Max out of the equation and look at Perez, right? How many times has Perez done phenomenally with the car? You know, that speaks volumes. You know, really speaks volumes to Nui's achievement for the car, for the season. You know, he is truly a genius. There's no question about it.
One of the greatest car ever built, the W14B, the W14B by William. It's designed by Adrian Newey.
Nice. Even more reason to pick it up then. I'd love to see his insight and see his philosophy at work. I'm sure I could learn things from him that I could apply to my own work. So, dudes, I appreciate that recommendation. That's awesome. I may need to pick that up sooner rather than later. And so tell us, everybody in the chat, what was your take on the race? If you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you place it? Where would you guys place it? Joe said a 7. I said a 5.
Yeah.
Where would you rank this?
6.5.
Yep.
Anybody give it a 3?
Anybody else have a number in mind? Yeah, we do too, man. We do too. We definitely like Sainz a lot. He is really. At first, like, I was a little put off by his crazy eyes. I'm not gonna lie, you know, but he's such a good driver.
Just,
you know, yeah, and of course, the rally legacy, like
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, man, his dad is a beast.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So this was a better one of the. It's true. This was one of the better races this season, but the season is kind of garbage.
Yep.
You know, I can maybe bump mine up to a 6.5. Then I'll agree with Sable Slippers there. You know. Okay, LCAP. 7.
Yeah, we have
you're in line with Joe.
Yep. No, usually Monza is a boring race,
Yeah.
but today it's good to see some battle.
Yeah, it was. There were more moments in this race than, let's say, like the Dutch, Grand Prix.
No, the Dutch, you can just imagine Dutch as a monocle.
Yeah. Dutch definitely had me snoozing. I barely could keep my eyes open for the Dutch GP, but this one was definitely better. I can agree to that. You know, and. Sorry, 1 sec. I just tried to open something on my computer when I didn't mean to. But yeah, man, I don't know. Today was interesting. definitely. As long as you weren't looking at P1, P2, the race was overall interesting, But for you guys, are you going to remember Verstappen's achievement? Maybe we're a little biased here. Are you going to, like David Coulthard and whoever else were saying, are you going to remember Max's achievement today? Or did that achievement just kind of go over your head? Because I'm definitely not going to remember it past, like, this afternoon.
Today. Yeah.
Like, you're going to talk to me tomorrow and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, Max did what? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Sorry, I passed out.
Yeah. Like, was it really a memorable moment for you guys at all? And I think that this is really the challenge that the FIA has. Like, they keep. My issue is, like, I've been seeing so many articles come out lately. I mean, there have been at least 4 that I've seen that have either had the title "Why the F1 Season Isn't Boring" or "Why You Should Still Keep Watching the F1 Season." And it had nothing to do with the racing. All the reasons had nothing to do with the racing. It was more about the external controversies, right? Like the future of the cost cap decision and things like that had nothing to do with, any of the titles or achievements. It literally was like for external dramas, So I don't know, they were paid to say that. Clearly. Yeah. I mean, they were getting paid regardless.
That's their job.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it was on the teleprompter for them, like. Yeah, it's just funny to me, right? Because you would think, and again, this is maybe why my dad thought he has some mental issues, right? Because, like, you make an achievement like what he did today at the end of the race, and you would expect somebody to be like, yeah, lifetime achievement, I'm in, history is one of the greats, blah 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 blah, and like he doesn't express like that at all. He's just like, yeah, good race, guys. Well done, team.
He's mental.
Yeah, it's maybe honestly that's maybe what my dad was like tapping into, where he's like, maybe he has some issues, because his response is just not normal, man. Really, like, not normal. So I don't know, guys. I still maintain the title of this live stream. History is made, but who cares?
History was made in a cruising way.
Yeah, really. Like,
yep. Who cares? I don't care.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, I wonder. I really wonder what's his reason for that. But I've seen it too.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
and I'm really curious how much longer he's going to do it. I mean, I always assumed that he had an agenda with LH, and he was going to try and replace LH for the number of titles, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. So we'll see.
Maybe he just got bored because everybody's so slow in terms of the car performance. And you, from time to time, you will see him on the radio say, "Yeah, good race."
yeah. I mean, it's very, very possible
because he knows his car is too fast. He knows.
Yeah. So we'll see, guys. I think this will be kind of our last thing that we comment on. We're gonna wind the thing down today, but I don't think Max can split from his dad. I don't think it's possible, if I'm 100% honest with you. And I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he is too entrapped in that relationship, and there's no way for him to extricate himself from that dynamic, and because of that, it'll always play a factor, and potentially maybe why he wants to retire, or not do this for very long, honestly. So
no, I think his dad is a toxic dad. That's all I think. Yeah.
No questions asked. I mean, really, like, hey, camera, stop breathing. But yeah, I don't think he will ever be able to separate himself from his dad or their dynamic, and
his dad is just taking too much position on him.
Yeah.
Even on Red Bull team.
Yeah. So I don't think this is something that we're going to see change, to be quite frank, especially that he has a background in racing himself, so
he's a former F1 driver, right?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I try to pay as little attention to him as possible, to be quite honest.
That's all I know.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see, guys. We'll see you guys after the next race. We'll see if this season continues to kind of drag on with its sort of blandness, or if things will pick up, and be a little bit more exciting. But at least today, Verstappen wasn't ahead by 20 seconds. It was only 10 seconds.
Yay!
But fingers crossed, we'll see some new stuff. We'll see some new dynamics and new battles the rest of the season. Which how many more races are there? Like
8.
8?
Yeah, Singapore is next, and Japan, Qatar, United States, Mexico.
Do we get a break this coming week, or?
September 15th is the race.
Okay, so we do get a break this weekend coming up. Okay, so we will probably put out a commentary video of some sort, depending on the news, so keep an eye out for that.
Depending on what's interesting.
Yeah, if there's anything that's interesting in the news, keep an eye open for that next weekend, and then the weekend after that, we will catch you guys back here in the live after the race. So thank you all for joining us. We love you guys.
Big heart.
Yeah, big heart. And really appreciate your comments and contributions. And we will see you guys in the next one. All right. Peace.